Hi Internet, this is David Roberts, climate and energy writer for grist.org, everyone's favorite nonprofit environmental news site. I just got back from a year-long sabbatical from my job, during which I didn't work and mostly wasn't on the internet. I wrote a piece in Outside Magazine. Pick it up on your newsstands. I think they still have newsstands. I've written a couple of follow-ups to the piece on the blog. I've also had all these other questions coming from people about bits and pieces of the experience that I thought I would just make a video and answer them all at once so that I can get back to writing about climate doom and gloom, which is my day job. Clara Jeffrey asks, still got the beard? Yes, much like Samson and his hair, my beard is the source of my vitality and strength, such as they are. Betsy Rosenberg asks, how often did you think or talk about the climate crisis? The answer to that is 0% of the time. As a matter of fact, I found it, I don't know what this says about me or says about climate change, but I found it quite easy to put it out of my head and not think about it. I can tell you, just sort of retiring from the internet and becoming an average news consumer, it doesn't pop up a lot. It doesn't really come up. It's very easy to get away from it. Rosamond Cummins asks, is there any issue or problem in the world that is now better than when you started your sabbatical? And I think the implication here is that everything seems to be going to shit, which is easy to think. You know, once I got back online and reviewed all the news I missed, it does seem like things are awful. More conflict in the Middle East now, climate's going to hell, the Arctic ice sheet is starting to fall apart. You know, everything can seem awful, but I do think it's worth pointing out that if you look at aggregate measures of human welfare, they have been going up and are still going up. The amount of armed conflict, wars in the world is declining and continues to decline despite the kick-up of horrible stuff in the Middle East right now. Malnutrition is on the decline. Education is on the rise. I think it's probably been true at any point in history that the bad news and the things falling apart seem more salient somehow, jump out at you more. Honestly, while it's true that environmental problems are getting worse, humanity as a whole is doing better and better. And that's it's weird holding those two things together at once in your head, but it is nonetheless the case. Aaron asks, have your views on the importance of confronting climate change shifted at all? No, my views on basic policy questions obviously didn't change at all, because I still think that people deserve a minimum amount of autonomy and personal freedom and basic health care, and I still think that we need to take collective action to tackle collective problems. I'm still basically politically where I was. As to whether it's changed my sense of what's important or not, I think yes, in that I realized, which everybody should know already, but you lose sight of when you work the way I do, that the vast majority of what goes on in American politics, American political journalism, and tweets and updates and emails is froth and is utterly unimportant and will be forgotten by everyone in a few weeks. And every day you go onto Twitter, there's some new thing that everybody has to have a take on. I think it's very important to take time away from the 24-hour news cycle periodically and just think about what are the big questions, what are the significant things happening now, what really matters, and just not let yourself get so absorbed in the minutia of politics that you lose sight of reality, really.